What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, the Coke Chronicles episode 8. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do, and I also want to mention a couple things before we get started. First off, I apologize for not uploading in the past week, and I also apologize for the reused gameplay. I've broken my hand, and honestly, it's not very fun to play games right now. I tried to get on PS4, and it's just ugly, dude. Every time I play Call of Duty, I just get whacked. So I really think that you guys would rather I use some old gameplay that's at least bearable to watch in comparison to the god-awful stuff I'm putting out with my broken finger. Because, I don't know, man. In my opinion, you guys would love some decent gameplay, not some horse shit. Speaking of opinions, baby, this video is brought to you guys by Opinion Outpost, one of my favorite new ways to make easy cash online. It's super simple, ladies and gentlemen. You go on Opinion Outpost, you get paid for sharing your opinion. You can do it while you're doing pretty much anything. Doesn't require 100% focus. I have 2 computer monitors, so I have Opinion Outpost on my left, Netflix on my right, and I'm multitasking, dude. I'm watching The Office while I'm getting paid. It's simple as that. You could do it anywhere, anytime. I've tried it out. Once I get cashed out, once I get my money out of there, I'm going straight to Best Buy, all right? I need a new headset. Ladies and gentlemen, come to Best Buy with me. Sign up to Opinion Outpost. The link is in the description. Just click the link at the top of the description. Sign up today. Get paid, baby. Shout out to Opinion Outpost. Much love for you guys for sponsoring this video. Thank you guys so much. Show some love to them. Hey, they sponsoring the Goblin community. Much love, Opinion Outpost. But either way, let's dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. So, Coke Chronicles Part 8. Now, in Episode 7, we left off with quite the banger of a story, and this episode is going to be quite a different tone. This isn't a crazy event. This isn't super lit. This episode is where things start to get ugly, and I feel it's important to mention this because throughout this series, I've talked about a lot of I may have glamorized, and I may have made it seem like this whole binge was lit. But I want to remind you guys to what I said in Episode 1. This binge only started to deal with my emotions, right? I only started doing Coke to deal with how I felt. And it didn't work. It never works. Sure, time always works, but binging on fucking cocaine for 3 months did not make me feel any better about myself, my life, or the breakup that caused me to feel this way, you know? Like, none of that made me feel better. And after the whole scenario that happened in the prior episode, I kind of decided, all right, I'm not really having fun with this anymore because the hectic shit that was happening just kept piling up and becoming more frequent, and the repetitiveness was starting to get to me. Like, I would just go to the same places every day and do cocaine, and it got to the point where I didn't even enjoy it. If you guys have watched Steve-O's video where he talks about his coke addiction, he mentions how he didn't even think he ever liked the fucking drug, and honestly, it got to that point for me too, and I feel like a lot of people who have experienced coke addiction can relate to that. Like, you don't even have fun when you're on it. Like, I just sit there, palms sweaty, I'm a mess. I'm sweating, I'm talking too fast, and it got to the point where I was no longer doing it to feel better. It no longer gave me that Superman feeling that helped me escape how I felt in my head. I started just feeling like a twitchy piece of shit, and that's when I decided to call it quits. It was about the beginning of August at this point. I skipped over like the last week of July because it was pretty repetitive and you guys didn't need to hear about it. But it was like the first week of August at this point. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm talking to Kevin. I'm like, dude, I think we got to stop this binge, man. Like, because Kevin was going hard right alongside me. Pretty much every time I binge, Kevin binges because I just let him do my drugs. Like, that's my homie. So my drugs are his, we just get fucked up. So either way, I'm telling him like, man, I think it might be time to slow down the binge. And Kevin's like, are you sure, man? Because this is pretty fucking lit. Kevin's hype at first. Kevin's like, dude, this binge is lit, man. I'm like, yeah, but this isn't really like fun for me anymore, Like the novelty of this entire experience is worn off. And that's one of the important things that I kind of want to focus on. Like, I ended this binge more fucked in the head than I began, And it really took the past like 2 month and a half, 2 months of being off coke to really kind of get that clarity that I was gunning for the whole time with this binge. That's one of the points of this series, dude. I'm trying to make you guys really understand what the fuck it's like to do this, because a lot of you guys out there I know are probably young. You're probably, maybe you're new to the channel, or you're young and you haven't experienced Coke yet, or you haven't experienced any of the substances I talk about. And I think there's no better way to really protect you guys and discourage you than tell it how it fucking is, man. Because it's important for you guys to understand that, like, I don't do this shit for you guys. I don't do fucking Coke. I don't go on 3-month Coke binges for content, dude. I go on 3-month Coke binges because I'm depressed and I fucking hate shit, dude. I go on 3-month Coke binges because I don't want to deal with reality. That's why I go on drug binges, right? It's an escape, and it works temporarily, but long term, it always falls apart. And this is when it fell apart. I remember one night in particular in the beginning of August. This was the last night of my Coke binge. I had about 2 grams on me, and I got to the point where I started not going out and just staying home and doing Coke. And that's when I knew it was getting ugly. I stopped going out with Kevin. I would just stay at home and just rail Coke off my desk all day, just sitting at my desk, watching YouTube videos, playing games. And, you know, yeah, my mind was off of my breakup and all the sad things in my life, but my mind wasn't anywhere else. My mind was only on cocaine, like all times of the day. I was sitting at home just watching documentaries while I was coked up and thought I was being productive because I was learning shit, you know? I thought that because I was on Coke, everything I was doing was better and everything I was doing was worthwhile and not a waste of time just because I was on cocaine while I did it, you know? And that just, my state deteriorated very quickly. I lost a fuckload of weight towards the end of this binge, especially. I kind of just shut myself out from my social life. I just stayed in my house and did drugs all day. And I would just have my plug come deliver directly to my house and never leave unless I had to. Like, ever. Like, I just Uber Eats all my food and I barely ate. I'd eat like once every other day. I lost so much weight. There was, I think, the worst point in this binge was at the very end, you know, during this like first week of August or so, where I basically just stayed inside and did Coke all day, right? There was a 3-day stint leading up to the finale, which is what I like to call it. Not the finale of the series, the finale of at least this week. But nevertheless, the kind of finale and what really drove me to try to quit was I was up for just under 3 days, I want to say. I know it was over 48 hours. I was like into the 60 hours. Like I was very close to 3 days. And past that second day, I remember I went upstairs at like 6 in the morning, right? I've been up for almost 3 days at this point. And I hadn't done Coke in a couple hours. Like I was smoking all the weed I could to try to go to sleep because I was scared at this point. I was like, yo, I can't like sleep, dude. Like I couldn't even like control myself. And then finally when I got to the point where I could like get myself together and be like, all right, hey, it's time to stop doing blow. It's not because I ran out. It's just because I finally like somehow cracked my own head and went, hey, cut it the fuck out, dude. And I went to my garage and smoked a fuckload of weed. And I went upstairs and tried to lay in bed after being awake for almost 3 days. And I was just hearing shit. I kept hearing my name getting called. I kept opening my bedroom door, thinking someone was calling my name. I kept looking out my window, thinking that like, oh, is someone in my house? Like, who's calling my name? And I kept tweaking the fuck out, dude. I laid in my bed, I kid you not, for 5 hours straight, just tweaking the fuck out before I finally just passed out. Not doing any blow, not doing any other substances, just in my bed drinking ungodly amounts of water. I just kept going to my bathroom sink, filling my cup up and slamming water, and just laying in this bed in like anguish, dude. Like just wanting this to end so fucking badly. Sitting there just tweaking out, hearing my name, just hearing people yelling, hearing my name being called. I don't know if it's a psychosis. I'm not a scientist and I never went to the hospital, but I felt like I was in a true psychosis at this point. I felt like I was actually dying, and I was fucking terrified, dude. I was laying in my bed, and I was like, dude, I don't think I've experienced something like this in a very long time, if ever. The last experience I could have that I could even draw any parallels to this was with the acid experience that sent me to rehab. If you guys have watched my rehab series, there was some parallels to be drawn, except it wasn't as extreme, but like the hallucinations and just the discomfort in my body, I felt physically so fucking tired. Like my body just gave out, but mentally I just couldn't shut off. finally 5 or 6 hours after laying in this fucking bed, I finally just knocked out. And I remember sleeping all day. I slept for like 16 hours at least. I slept so long. I remember waking up at like midnight, like the next morning, like 1 a.m. or some shit. I slept for so long. And I remember waking up, and one of the things that struck me the most, I remember this so fucking vividly, because this is still like really important. I keep this in mind today when I think about blow. Like, because it's not like I was just able to flick a switch and suddenly, hey, I'm not doing Coke anymore. Dude, Coke is fucking addicting. All right? I never dabbled in it this heavily until now. I totally get why people are hooked on this shit now. I used to not like it. I totally get why people are hooked on this shit. It's fucking dangerous. But just the instance of me waking up that next morning and being so grateful, being so happy, like thinking like, yo, oh my God, I did it, dude. I went to sleep. Like being so happy that I just woke up and was sober. That was one of the most sobering moments. I mean, I apologize for the wordplay there, but that was one of the most sobering moments ever. Like that was one of the most like, oh shit, like I gotta think for a minute moments ever. And I remember I went downstairs, I scaled out the rest of the Coke I had. I had about an 8-ball left, and I just sold the rest of it. I just got rid of the rest of it. And after that point, this was my first attempt to stop. Not my final, but my first attempt to stop. And I tried my fucking hardest. Because I hated the memory, and I still hate the memory. I still use it as a very valuable tool of that just fucking desperation I was in to get out of that scenario. Should I have gone to the hospital? Maybe, but I'm alive, so hey, we still kicking. But hey, you guys, if you're ever in that scenario, go get some medical attention, man. I definitely probably should have. But nevertheless, like, it was such a god-awful experience just laying in my bed after that 3-day binge. And for that 3 days, all I did was sit at my desk, game, and order food. Like, I didn't do anything. There's not much story to be had about those 3 days. You guys may be in the comments like, well, Goblin, why didn't you talk about what you did during that, like, 3-day binge? That sounds crazy. I was a fucking hermit, dude. Like, that's the fact of the matter. I didn't go out and party for 3 days. I didn't go get lit. I sat at my desk, geeked, wide-eyed, watching YouTube videos and playing games. And it just ate me alive. I fucking hated it, dude. So after that, I made my first attempt to stop. And that lasted, I want to say, a week. And then I did it again. And I didn't actually officially stop until I want to say the 3rd week of August. There was a couple spontaneous attempts to quit, but I finally sealed the book right before the beginning of September, which was nice. But we'll get to that in the next episode, ladies and gentlemen, because I got to go move some more shit into the crib. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.